Hello, friends. Welcome to our today's chemistry class. In our today's chemistry class, I'm going to teach you on naming of binary compounds. What is binary compound? A binary compound is a compound that contains just two different elements. When you have trinary contains three elements. Now, there are rules guiding it. The first rule, do not change the name of the first element. Since there are just two elements present in the compound, never you change the name of the first element. If it is sodium, mention it sodium. If it is potassium, mention it potassium. If it is zinc, mention it zinc. Don't change the name. Now, rule number two, change the name of the second element to have the ending IDE. Note it, to have the ending IDE and attach it to the name of the first element. So, example of what I am saying on this point 2 is here. So, if it is oxygen, change oxygen to have ending IDE and it becomes what? Oxide. Hydrogen now becomes what? Hydride. Phosphorus now becomes what? Phosphide. Chlorine becomes chloride. Sulfur becomes sulfide, and so on and so forth. Just change the name, the second name, the second element, change the ending part of it to IDE. So when that is done, let's go to the rule number 3, where the first element has more than one oxidation state. The oxidation state used is written as a Roman figure and is placed in brackets after the name of the first element. Okay, now we are going to see that when we are going to answer this or solve this problem. Now, example, name the following compounds. The first compound is Na2O. The second compound, MgCl2. The third, FeS. The fourth, CO. Now, in trying to solve this, let's see how it goes. Solution number 1, we want to name Na2O. Now, the instruction, let's go back to our rules. The first rule said, do not change the name of the first element. So, I will now say the name of the first element is what? Na means what? Sodium. So, I will not change it. I will write sodium. Now, I'm done with that rule. Let's go to this one. Change the name of the second element to have the ending IDE and attach to the name of the first element. So the second element is oxygen. I'll change it from oxygen to oxide and attach to the first name. Oxide. So the name now becomes sodium oxide. Sodium oxide. We are done with that. The reason why that is so simple and straightforward is that sodium is among the first 20 elements and is a metal. When you have sodium, any first element standing in a binary compound and you check the element and it's a metal, it is always named this way. Remember, I told you in one of our classes before now that how do I know when an element is a metal? By writing the electronic configuration of sodium or of that element. Once you have 1 on the outer shell, 2 electrons on the outer shell, 3 electrons on the outer shell, that element is what? A metal. So you don't need to think of the third rule. So This is the way. If that element is a metal, the first element is a metal among the first 20 elements. If you are confused, just write electronic configuration. If you don't remember how to write it, go to one of those videos that I taught before now. You will see how to write it and then follow it, and you will see the answer coming out. Okay, we are done with number one. Two, they said we should name this compound MgCl2. Okay, magnesium. If I may ask, is it a metal? Is it a non-metal? It's a metal. How do I know? Because if I write electronic configuration of magnesium, atomic number is 12. It will give me 2, 8. 2, 8. 2 plus 8 is 10. How many? It's left 2. So I told you when electronic configuration ends with 1, 2, or 3, that element is what? A metal. Among the first 20 elements. That's what I'm telling you now. Among the first 20. So this is a metal. So I won't bother going to the number 3 rule. So I will only check what's the name. The name is magnesium. I'll write the name because rule number 1 says I should not change the name. Magnesium. I should not change the name of the first element. Rule number 2 said I should change chloride to what? Sorry, chlorine to chloride. So I will now say I'm done. Magnesium chloride. Now let's go to number 3 there. Number 3 is Fe. If you can recall, when I gave you the first 20 elements, Fe is not among. If you go back there and check the first 20 elements, Fe is not among. So the rule number 3 will come into play. Now, but before we go to rule number 3, the first element has a name, and the name is what? Ion. Fe is what? Ion. Now, it has variable oxidation state. It's a metal, but above first 20 elements. So that area, they have variable oxidation state. More than one oxidation state. They have more. So now I do not know the one that this man has. Remember, I taught you how to calculate the oxidation number of an element. Now, you will now get to calculate the oxidation number of this element, and if you calculate that, you see that it will end with 2. Sulfur is minus 2 here, so this is plus 2. So that plus 2, they said I should put it in a bracket after the name because the oxidation state of ion is plus 2 there, and they said where the first element has more than one oxidation state, the oxidation state used is written as a Roman figure. Remember, I'm not writing it this way. I'm writing in Roman figure. Roman figure, and is placed in brackets after the name of the first element. So that's what I am doing there. And then the next one is for me to change sulfur to what? Sulfide. And I have it done. Iron 2 sulfide. Iron 2 sulfide. I believe you remember how I calculated oxidation number. So how I got it, let me just remind you. Fe, I don't know the oxidation number that is using here, but sulfur here is minus 2. Now there's no plus, no minus, equates to 0. Having done that, Now work the mathematics. Fe plus times minus is minus 2 equal to 0. Fe, take this to this side, it becomes equal to plus 2. That's how I got my plus 2. And coming here, I did not write it this way, I wrote it in Roman figure. Okay, so let's go to the last one, which is number 4, CO. What is the name of that compound? The same thing will be applicable here. Now, the name of the first element is what? Carbon. I will just write it because I was told not to change it. After that, carbon is among the first 20 elements, but it's not a metal. It's a non-metal. Non-metal like carbon has variable oxidation state. Now, I want to calculate the oxidation state of carbon in this compound. Remember, if I say carbon, I don't know, plus oxygen is always what? Minus 2, as I told you, equate it to 0 because no charge there. Now, C plus times minus becomes minus 2 equal to 0. Take this to that, you have C equal to plus 2. So, the oxidation state of carbon in this compound is what? Plus 2. So, I will put the 2 in Roman figures and then Roman figure. And after that, I will change the oxygen to oxide, and that gives me the name of the compound. So I think we have solved all of them there, and I believe you enjoyed the class. Subscribe to the channel, like it, comment, and expect more. Thank you.